Bret is nearing hurricane status as it approaches the Caribbean. What's going on, guys? I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, and in this video, we're going to break down Bret and talk about some of the impacts coming to part of the Caribbean islands. Then we're going to look at Tropical Depression 4 that formed earlier on this Thursday morning, June 22nd. And then there's still that third wave out there closer to the Cabo Verde Islands. We're going to break all that down for you in this video. Hey, before we get into it, if you do love tracking weather, if you love staying up to date on the weather, you've come to the right place. Please hit that subscribe button, especially now that we are in hurricane season. Thank you to all of the new subscribers that have found this channel. It's been awesome talking to you guys. All right, let's get back into it. There we go. Here is Bret. It's certainly firing off some thunderstorms. It's not looking all that healthy, though. It is breathing. There's some outflow channels up here. It is trying to bring in some drier air on the southern side of the system, so we don't have those storms completely wrapped around the center. So even though we are seeing this approach hurricane status as it moves closer to Barbados, closer to St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, we're not expecting this thing to rapidly strengthen and become this big behemoth system. It is still going to be impactful. There still could be some life-threatening conditions even as this stays a strong tropical storm. So you need to know that. Here is the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Again, latest track as of 11 o'clock this morning. You see not much has changed in terms of the track. So that has been good. You see this pink color showing up here. That is a hurricane watch. That's for St. Lucia. That is because it is near hurricane strength. There will be the potential for hurricane conditions on St. Lucia. So, again, you need to know that. We do have tropical storm warnings continuing for Dominica and for St. Lucia and for Martinique. That means that we are going to have the likelihood of tropical storm conditions. Barbados, we're still under the tropical storm watch. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are under that tropical storm watch as well, meaning that tropical storm conditions are going to be possible. Latest spaghetti models, again, really not much has changed with that nice consensus right on through the Caribbean. Here is Jamaica that is going to miss Jamaica. It's going to stay south of the Virgin Islands, south of Puerto Rico, south of Cuba. We're watching for some enhanced rainfall towards Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua. This is not expected to be a tropical system at this time. It's likely going to fall apart at some point out here, kind of on a level playing field with Jamaica, but staying to the south of the island, of course. The main concern is going to be Barbados, Martinique, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines as we go to the second part of Thursday and especially into Thursday night into Friday. All right, so I'm going to fast forward now. This is going to be 8 o'clock. Let me actually take this back just a little bit so we can focus on Barbados first. Notice the wind gusts. These are gusts now. We could have gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour, especially on the northern side of the island. The strongest wind's going to be in this dark purple. You see gusting at times to 80 to maybe 90 miles an hour. Remember, here is Barbados. I'm expecting the strongest of the winds, the 70 plus, the hurricane force winds, to stay well to the north of the island. There is the actual circulation. So we're going to take this forward now. So stick with me. We're going to break this down in time as that sped forward a little too far. Let me back this up. Here we go at 7 o'clock on June 22nd on Thursday. So there we go with the strongest wind. So you see some weakening has taken place. There are 60 to 75 mile per hour winds in this little shield here. So that's going to be on the southern end of Martinique. Here is Martinique. And then St. Lucia. So that is where I am expecting the biggest impacts to the islands in St. Lucia, in Martinique, and then in Dominica, right up in here. So again, just keep that in mind. That's where the strongest, the highest impacts are likely going to be felt. Let me take this now to 10 o'clock on Thursday. This is where we're going to see the worst. Later Thursday evening into early Friday morning, you see wind gusts again pushing hurricane force at times, especially in Martinique, St. Lucia, Dominica. Just keep that in mind. And then we're going to keep things breezy getting into tomorrow, but you see it there much, much better as all the stronger stuff is now way out into the Eastern Caribbean. Still some heavy rain going to be possible, but again, the worst of the weather. I'm going to back this up again, and we're going to take it through. There you go at 7 o'clock tonight. That's 9 o'clock tonight now. There you go at 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday. We're looking for those big purple colors, and then finally subsiding as we get to the yellows and greens. I think it's still going to be a little bit breezy tomorrow, but that's going to be gusting to 20 to 30 miles an hour. The weather will improve significantly on Friday. So there is a timeline there. Again, rainfall amounts anywhere from 3 to possibly up to 6 inches, isolated higher than that. This is going to be moving at a pretty good clip, so that's some good news, but there could be some flash flooding. So again, please be careful. Don't drive through any flooded roadways, things like that. So watch out for flash flooding. And again, the potential for hurricane force gusts. Even though this is a tropical storm, as I showed you before, there are gusts over 75 miles per hour. And again, that's hurricane force. And again, just to reiterate, that's 10 o'clock at night. That's when some of the worst weather could be happening late Thursday evening into Friday morning, again, earlier for Barbados. Here is Tropical Depression 4. And again, if you have any questions, post those in the comments. I will get back to you on that. If you're finding this content helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot. Tropical Depression 4, as I get my old illustrations off, you can see it's under the influence of some shear. It's being blown off this way. The whole right side of the system is missing. So that means we have some pretty strong shear out of this direction. Almost the center exposed on the left-hand side as well on the eastern side. So it's going to have some issues. Again, it's not expected to get too terribly strong, but nonetheless, we have a tropical depression. Latest models on Tropical Depression 4. It still says Invest 93L, but it was just formed this morning. That previously was Invest 93L. Again, here are the Northeast Caribbean islands. So again, really want to keep an eye on this for the Virgin Islands, Antigua, Barbuda. There's Puerto Rico, but most of the consensus here is to take this and bend it northeast of the Caribbean. Now, right up in here, this is Bermuda. We're going to have to watch this closely for our friends in Bermuda because that bend here gets it kind of close to the island, a little too close for comfort, and we could see this thing strengthen again. It's likely going to stay weak through about here, but then strengthen as it gets out here, and I'm going to show you that with the GFS model forecast. This is the upper level pattern here, the 500 millibar chart, and it's this little ball of energy right in here. That is going to be Tropical Depression 4, potentially our next named storm of the season. Nonetheless, as it approaches Bermuda, we're going to watch that closely. Also, a couple of interesting things here to point out. I'm going to change my view so you can see that better. Here's that big area of high pressure that kind of pushes to the south and east. It needs to leave Texas alone. Again, my friends in Texas, if you're watching, we've been baking. As we get towards June 30th, we're going to still be under the influence of the heat till that time, but it's going to start transferring over towards the southeast. Now, here is the upper level flow. That's the jet stream. There are still some questions as to where Tropical Depression 4 goes. If it does miss this ride out, we're going to have this big ridge of high pressure kind of moving in this direction. So if TD4 would slow down, we might start to have a concern towards the southeast corner of the United States, the mid-Atlantic, and the Bahamas. Again, that is on the outside of possibilities. That is not the main consensus right now. But when you don't have a lot of data because of where TD4 is, and it's far out into the future, again, we're looking towards the 29th and 30th of June, so about a week out. Weather systems can speed up and slow down a lot in that time. So we're going to watch that closely for any kind of shenanigans. But right now, it does look like TD4 is going to head out in that realm. Lastly, if you're still with me, give me a thumbs up. Sorry, this is a longer video, but there's a lot to break down. There's a lot of, I want to make sure my friends in the Caribbean are taken care of. There is Bret, again, heading in that direction. These are just some tropical moisture, some thunderstorms in Central America. That is not related to Tropical Storm Bret. Here is Tropical Depression 4, and then here is that other juicy wave that could also develop as it moves over the next couple of days. You can see that big upper low here. That's creating all the thunderstorms in this vicinity. So again, the only area that is getting impacted from Tropical Storm Bret will be the Lesser Antilles and into Barbados. And again, we just went through all of that. In terms of that juicy wave, there's some model support. Again, here is what will likely become a tropical storm, but that is Tropical Depression 4. Again, likely by that time a tropical storm. There is what's left of Bret. And then there are a few ensemble members here that are latching on, all those L's you see at the bottom of your screen, that wave off of Africa could develop as it approaches, again, the Lesser Antilles. So it's nothing to freak out about. We need to be focused on Bret for sure. That is the short-term thing. And again, Martinique, Dominica, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is my immediate concern over the next 24 to 48 hours through Friday afternoon. Again, make sure that you are prepared. Make sure you're ready for very heavy rain, the potential for hurricane force wind gusts. But then once we get beyond there, already on the heels, potentially something, I think on the weaker side, if it does develop, coming back in the same direction. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, it has been awesome talking to you guys on the chat. I wish it was under better circumstances. I wish we didn't have a tropical system coming our way, but thank you so much for your support. Thank you for subscribing again, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Really appreciate you guys being here as we talk and track all things weather. Love having you guys on board. If you have any reports, post those in the comments as well. That would be much appreciated, and we can continue this conversation as the storm is ongoing. But please, if you're watching from the islands, be safe. I'm thinking about you guys, and we will catch you next time.